What's going on, guys? It's Justin here with Summit Racing, and we're down here in Columbus, Ohio for the Good Guys show down here at the State Fairgrounds. Now, if you've never been down here before, this is the show of shows. They pack this place in with some of the most amazing rides you've ever seen. So follow along with us today as we walk around the show, check out some cars, and talk to their even cooler owners. I can't wait to see who we run into today and the cool stuff we find. So let's go walk around and see what we can get into. So we're walking around the show, and I just could not walk by Jeff's sweet Chevy here. This thing is a, it's a 72. It embellishes everything that I like to see in what I would call a restomod. So, Jeff, I love this thing, and why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, it's nothing like you see now when I got it. Every nut and bolt, wire, drivetrain is running a built-up LS now, LS1. Started out as in a 99 Camaro that was wrecked, and guy I know got it out of the junkyard. So we blew it apart, rebuilt it, completely painted the truck, hooked it to a Tremec 5-speed with a Detroit Locker 373 gear. It's got a Bryce Thomas radiator in it and fans, Edelbrock high-rise, vintage air and heat. It's got cruise control, navigation, backup camera. Fun to drive. You can get on the interstate, set the cruise at whatever speed you want, turn that air up. It's got a 1,000-watt amp in it, cruise the country in it. It's a driver. It actually just started out as an engine swap, that and the transmission. And when we blew it apart, the front end off of it to start this, and Dom and I looked at each other, my buddy Tom Rigg, he's very instrumental in this truck. We're going deeper than this. So we just took all the sheet metal off, the cab off, we did the frame, ed the gas tank, it's in the back. And I bought a 4x8 sheet of stainless steel, and we made a stainless steel gas tank. That made for the seats, the interior, be able to go back towards the back of the cab.
I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about your sweet Chevy build here, Jeff.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And you enjoy the rest of your day.
And you guys too. I appreciate you. And I am a customer of yours.
Heck yeah, and that's what we love to hear. And we appreciate you and thank you for your business. I love Volkswagen, Civics, and anything weird, and I couldn't walk by this sweet 63 Bug that belongs to our friend Brad here. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. I love the rat rod vibe, and this thing's got a lot of attention today. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, I've had this Bug for 40 years now. I got it when I was 13 years old. I traded a three-wheeler for it, and here about maybe 8 years ago, I finally decided to start on it, and just got the saw out and started cutting.
Just run us through kind of what you did when you decided you were going to build it.
I liked rat rods, and I kind of had a vision in my head that, I wanted no fenders and the front end stretched, and I like the old school headlights, so I made those work. If you look, they're mounted on a set of connecting rods from a 350 wrapped around the beam. I kind of went from there and went as I did it. Ground it all down to bare metal and let it rust, and step by step.
This isn't just, your grandpa's stock 1600. Let's run through the motor a little bit. It's got some ponies.
Yeah, it's a 2135 stroker motor. It's got a little pep to it, dual 44s, decent cam. It has no trouble turning the tires.
Yeah, and when you guys think about that, that might not, a 2.1 might not seem impressive, but when these things were stock 1600s, it made 30 horsepower from the factory on its best day. So, when you build a big Volkswagen stroker motor like this, and it makes 100-ish horsepower, you've tripled or quadrupled what it makes from the factory. Yeah. And these cars weigh nothing, so it's
oh yeah.
It's light, it's fast, it's nimble, and it's got a lot of character, and we love that. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about this, and I can't wait to see you in another show. We just love walking around this show and running into cars we can drool over. So we have Dennis here, and he has this absolutely gorgeous 65 Fairlane. Why don't you tell us about, the build, the process, and you did tell me this is a low mileage car. I can't wait for you to tell the folks how low those miles are.
Yeah, it's less than 11,000 original miles, and there's a story behind that. This car was purchased by a gentleman in Greenville, Ohio, brand new, right off the floor. V8, He passed away, unfortunately, when the car had 5,100 miles on it. His wife put it in the garage, never drove it for 38 years. This car just sat in that garage, all closed up. When she passed away, unfortunately, the next door neighbor bought it. He got it running and then flipped it to a guy in Seattle, Washington. The guy in Seattle, Washington repainted it because it had become a shelf, was full of scratches and things. He did a beautiful paint job on it. He put a new gas tank, new gas lines, new brake lines, new brakes on it. And he drove it for a couple years, and he decided that he wanted something different. I inquired about it. I had a 64 Galaxy, two-door post. We did an exchange, and so when I got it, I put air conditioning in it, because at my age, I have to have air conditioning. So, and I put Edelbrock 4-barrel manifold and carb on it, radiator in it. I put the Ford stock traction bars in it. As with all my cars I've done since I've been a kid in high school, I put cutouts on it. Somehow I just have to have those cutouts.
Well, you want to have that option. You know, it's like, is it Sunday morning or is it Saturday night? And if you screw the cutouts off and you party cut it up, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and we go to the local hangouts and, you know, everything. So I enjoy the car. I enjoy the oddity of the car.
Well, Dennis, we hope to see you out at another show, enjoying your beautiful Fairlane. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we're just kicking it around the show, and I could not walk by this big Cadillac. And we have Kyle here. This car has a really cool story that, you know, your grandpa owned at one time. And, you know, we always say if cars would talk, the crazy stories they would tell. Well, this thing has a phenomenal documented story. So why don't you tell us about, you know, the car and your family and the crazy story that goes along with it?
My grandpa got it in '66. It's a '63. It was his baby. He only had it for 5 years before it ended up getting stolen from him out of a parking lot. This guy named Grambo, who escaped from prison, unfortunately, he killed a doctor, and that's why he was in there. But he faked an illness, and they put him in a prison hospital. So he went from being in there to escaping, and then he left it under a bridge that was being worked on. It had concrete droppings all over it. It had, you know, fingerprint dust all over it. In the long run, he got it back. That meant more to him than anything. It's the history behind it that nobody really knows about. So getting the story out there is really, really cool to me.
Yeah, no, and that's like I said, stories like that, I just eat up. I love it. We can't wait to see you out at more shows and see this thing again. Well, until next time, you know, it's been a pleasure, Kyle. So we're walking around the show, and I could not walk by this sweet 71 Cuda. So we're here with Joe, the owner of the car, and this thing is just gorgeous, and I love it. And can you tell me all about it?
Thank you. Yeah, this is 71, the Plymouth Cuda that we did a Cuda tribute to. Basically used every piece of AMD sheet metal available for this type of car and kind of pieced it back together. Under the hood, you'll find a 440 block stroke to a 512. It's an iron head motor, makes 629 horse and 675 foot-pounds of torque. It's backed by a 727 and then a 8 3/4 355 posi rear end in the back. So
thanks again, Joe, and it's been a pleasure. And like I said, we'll see you around.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I hope I showed you guys some really cool cars. I know we talked to some even cooler people. Make sure to comment below to tell us what your favorite car of the show was. And make sure to like and subscribe to that Summit Racing YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of the cool content we post, and punch that notification bell so you're the first to know. So until next time, I'm Justin with Summit Racing, and thanks y'all for watching.